Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, there's only one thing worse, as Oscar Wilde said, than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. And all the government can do today is talk about the opposition, talk about the Labor Party, because actually it's only the opposition coming up with new ideas to deal with the problems, the very serious problems that this country is facing. They have no ideas. Worse than having no ideas, they are out of touch. This is the government of Jim Callaghan's, the new Jim Callaghan's. What crisis? There is no crisis. There is a crisis. There's a crisis in manufacturing. 40,000 jobs gone in the last 5 years, and export capacity reduced, gone. Fewer of them. That's why we're struggling. There is a crisis in manufacturing, and this government's got no answer to it. But the other big crisis in this country, that even Tim Grosser can't see because he spends far too much time out of this country, is in housing. The government's own report, the government's own Productivity Commission said there is a crisis in housing, an affordability crisis. Housing is absolutely essential to a healthy community, to a healthy life. Everybody needs a roof over their heads. And this government has got no answer to the growing number, the thousands of people who are increasingly finding it difficult not even to buy a house, to rent one, because the prices are going through the roof. The government is out of touch, and housing is out of reach to a growing number of New Zealanders. The issue is about affordability. It is about affordability, but it's also about access to housing, to social housing, to rental housing, because there's been a rundown in rental stock. You see, I was in New Plymouth just a few days ago with our housing spokesperson, Annette King, and we went up to the site of a Labor project there to develop housing, state housing, rental housing, affordable housing. It was a project that was all ready to go in 2008, and no sooner did this government get in, they shelved it. It's in an area called Discovery Place. You know, there is a song that goes along the lines of, can you do what they do? Or can we do what they do in Discovery Channel? Well, in New Plymouth, the song is, can you not do what they do in Discovery Place? Because it is doing absolutely nothing. There are people there, they took all the houses away because they told people they were going to redevelop them, and they let what housing was there run down. There's only a few tenants there. They live in substandard housing. They have no idea what's going on because nobody tells them what's going on in Discovery Place. And they need to know. And what's the government's answer? The Productivity Commission tells them there's an affordability problem. The government's own department tells them there's a housing problem. And what's the government's answer? Nothing. No plan, no answer. Fiddle a bit around the edges of planning. Tell the local authorities that they've got to pull up their act. But what are they doing to the local authorities? Trying to take away their powers. Because local government under this government will have no responsibility for social issues, for broader economic issues, or anything else. What the left hand wants to do, the right hand says they're not going to do. That's the problem with this government. No coherence, no consistency, no plan. And actually, a lot more needs to be done. It's not just about the builders, it's about those who want to get into housing too. Those who want to rent at an affordable level, those who want to buy at an affordable level, those people whose dreams and aspirations, young people in particular, are built on getting the first rung on the ladder of housing, they can't get there. Average price of a house now in Auckland, $600,000. Average nationally, $360,000. It's impossible for people to get in a house. And what is this government's plan for housing? There isn't one. There isn't one. And there's a lot more we could be doing. What about intervening in the lending market? What about the state playing a role, as we used to with the old State Advances Corporation? Why don't we assist young people? Mr. Joyce says, for goodness sake, because he doesn't want to, because they've got no plan. They'll talk about the Labor Party, they'll talk about the Greens and everybody else. They have to because they've got no plan of their own, because they don't want to help people. They don't want to help people. They have never cared about people who are finding it tough, who just want to get ahead. They don't want to help. They want to help their rich mates. That's what this government is about. That's why they don't care about housing. They don't care about the jobs they're in. They don't even see a problem in manufacturing, because that's the nature of it. That's the nature of it. They don't see a problem when there is one. More has to be done. This government is doing nothing. And this country is crying out for an action plan. A decent housing plan will create jobs and will stimulate the economy. But this party won't do it, because it's run out of ideas, it's run out of steam, and all it can do is point the finger at other people.
Michael Woodhouse. Mr Speaker, a couple of weeks ago I had cause to go to the dictionary